Gentlemen, why am I still seeing all of you guys freak out and invest basically in a future in which men are still in charge? There was a recent event in which several large companies, and I won't name names, fell a significant number of points because a fictitious report was written by a human being and not AI about the decline of these companies and how these different aspects of investing were founded on very fictitious investments. Guess what? Most likely, what happened is that AI read this fictitious report, which any human being reading it would have been able to read between the lines and say, oh, well, this is not a real report. The AI used that information to change the investments of basically hedge funds and dropped the companies several points based on fictitious inquiry, a writer's imagination. That is where we're at right now. AI makes the system more fragile because it cannot predict the spontaneity of humanity, and specifically not women. Have you tried to predict what a woman is going to do next? No, you can't. Why? Because the divine is playful, it is spontaneous, it is artistically driven. What is an AI going to create that an artist has already downloaded from the ethers? Artists are always 5 steps ahead of the current society. Let's think about Star Trek, for example. Made and written by a woman, let's not forget that these creations were something that came from the imagination of a human being. And because of that, fictitious characters took on a life of their own. The imagination of the people decided to run with that. And because we all enjoyed the story so much, we all ended up going in that direction. So that is what is happening now. Stop trying to imagine that we are going to continue going in the direction that we have been going in. You're putting your focus in the wrong place. It doesn't mean don't work with the current systems. Don't work with what you have. It doesn't mean stop investing in the stock market. It means invest in a way that you believe is beneficial to the world. That means using your vote when you do go to the polls to vote for the candidate that you believe is the most worthy, not because of the person that you believe is going to win the most easily. Do you see what is happening here? The concepts of fear are co-opting your decisions so that you act and move in a fearful direction and a trajectory of humanity. That means you are influenced into a predictable outcome. Stop being so predictable. Stop listening to the ways of fear and start listening to women. Where do the women want to go? If you want to live in a matriarchal society, you need to start acting like it. Stop listening to the men as if that was the end all be all. Like, yes, this is what is happening. Do look at what is happening factually. Look at what is the bills that are in the Senate, the House, the representatives. Look at what is happening. But when you make your decisions, do that from a place of this is where we are going and never let that vision falter. The vision of the place that we are going at this point is we have to dismantle the technocracy that we are currently subjugated by, and that we are going to become even more subjugated by if we continue investing in things like chip stocks, Bluetooth stocks, etc. When the fact of the matter is we want less tech, and tech that is more suited to the biological human system, that is harmonious with it, like daylight computers, for example. That's what we want. What we don't want is robots that can use a machine gun and can do martial arts. That is not something we need. When they said robots are going to take away your jobs, that was not one of them. We meant like fast food, or we meant like automated production, etc. There are a lot of things that cannot be automated. You cannot automate the human spirit. And when money becomes king, essentially your platform cannot be something that is automated. What is at stake here is not people's jobs with automation. What is at stake is people's free will and sovereignty. Because if you take away all the jobs, let's say human beings do no work, what are they going to be doing? Art. They're going to be doing a lot. They're actually going to be doing a lot of things. I don't know if you've sat around for 2 years not doing anything and being retired. Most people haven't. But it's not easy to do because your fingers do want to release serotonin by doing and creating things. So you're going to be making and producing something. It's going to happen. It might just be the food every day, but you're going to get into it. If 2020 taught us anything, it's that sourdough is one heck of a therapy drug. Pizza, creating your own, all of these things, comfort food, guess what? That's what you have time for. You're going to be creating and producing something. The thing is, people imagine that they want to get away from physical labor. And the truth of it is that we want to get away from survival, which is the having to do something instead of wanting to do something. There's a big difference. And so there might be some level of automation to what you do, like let's say a 3D printer is some level of automation, right? But the concept of like mass producing anything takes away from the fun of making it. So if you have to make 100 of the same thing, a personality may not enjoy doing that. Every time a small business becomes a larger business, there's a lot of fun that gets taken out of it. The fun is in the creation. The fun is in the spontaneity, the design, the artistry, the nuance of not having two things be made exactly the same way twice, not automated. And so some people that say, oh, well, the reason why we moved from agriculture on a mass scale is because that way not everyone has to grow their own food. Well, some people are going to enjoy growing your food anyways. So the question is, why do we need robots? What are they actually for? Like, have we really thought about it? Or maybe the question is, are we as a society mature enough to even integrate automation into our everyday lives? Are we not even there yet? And I would argue that we're not even there yet. We can't even maintain the present grid and the status that we have. So why do we need to acquire more? Acquisition is a patriarchal, capitalistic concept of achieving more and more and more and more. That's not how matriarchy works. Matriarchy is a circle, a spiral of upward movement. Yes, there is improvement. Yes, there is change. Yes, there is achieving more, but it's a spiral of continuous support. It's a spiral of continuous improvement, kind of like a forest grows stronger over the course of 50 years. That kind of progress. It's not a straight line, it's a winding road upward. So stop trying to make progress a straight line. It's not. And until you start listening to the women around you, you will not know what direction that we're going in. Because the second that AI tries to predict how a woman is going to think next, I mean, good luck. You can pattern recognize all you want to, but there is no way in 10,000 years of predictability that you will ever determine what an artist is going to do next. Anyone that is in touch with their feminine aspect knows that the download of inspiration is spontaneous, unpredictable, and continuously novel. There is an infinite number of new ideas to be had. And AI cannot predict that. So every time you try to create a system based on AI and conformity and structure and patterns, that system will fail. Because any time that you introduce a new level of spontaneity into that system, it will crash the whole system. The stock market example, exhibit A. You cannot base everything, you cannot base the future off of AI. Because if you are going to, unless you're going to eradicate humans, which I think is what we're saying here as a collective, is you cannot predict what humans are going to do next. Because there will be some level of a desire for free will, new desires, new interests, new directions that cannot be predicted. So unless that is the pathway that you want to follow, is to be integrated with the Borg, which is continuously becoming more of an option, you will find yourself left behind by people that want to be human. that want to grow their own food because they don't want it to be poisoned, that prioritize the glorious machinations of the human body, as easily flawed and malleable as they might be sometimes, in favor of that cellular mechanism and machine, as opposed to the predictability of strip mining metals out of the earth to create more robots that currently we don't know or are not qualified to use as a society. So rethink your investments, gentlemen. Who are you following? Because if you're following the predictions of a man, you are part of the problem. If you are going to be following where a woman's desire wants to go, you're going to start following her visions, then you are going in the direction of life and not death. Why don't you start putting your money where your desires lie? Do you want to continue following a patriarchal society, or would you rather follow the matriarchal one? Because you need to pick a woman and start following her desires. Put your money where her desires are going, period. That is the only thing that you should be looking at. Invest in a future that you want to see, because otherwise you're investing in fear. Let that sink in. Your money is going exactly where your fear lies, where things have been going. And as long as the stock market is invested in fear, that's how long we're going to have to fight this. We're fighting you against you. You see how that's a problem? There's a catch-22 going on. Monetize and orient your brain around where women want to go with society, which is the care of children, which is the protector of the elderly, and the upliftment of nature itself and the planet. This is One Life Mechanics, and I'll see you next time.